The officer tier list has been updated, guys, and we are going to come through with the most updated officer ranking. This is, again, my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone's going to have different rankings, different ratings. I'm an artillery main. I do personally love artillery. I do think some different values and options from other people. So let's go to see what I personally like. And I'm going to give a small and brief explanation to each officer as to why I think they belong there. We're not going to try and long it out or anything like that. So starting off Red Heat, I mean, guys, there is no ifs or buts. Red Heat is 100% an S tier. By far the most versatile artillery officer. And what I mean by that is she is great at defending. She's great in offense. She's great in the field offense. She's great at base killing offense. She generally all round is one of the best officers available for this game. Obviously, some officers have 5 grids and stuff, but her burning ability is just absolutely phenomenal. Moving on, we're going to leave Flame just for a second, and I'll get back to him, and there's a reason why. Stinger is by far an A tier. He is basically the free-to-play version of Red Heat. In my personal opinion, kind of. They both have such an explosive amount of AoE damage, and he definitely belongs in A tier. Now, he's pretty much only good in defense and a little bit in the field fighting. When it comes to attacking bases, he's completely useless, unfortunately. But he does not belong on S tier just for that, and I do believe that potentially, from a free-to-play point of view, he's S tier, okay? From free-to-play point of view, he is completely S tier. So, in fact, I think I will put him in S tier just because of that. When it comes to doing his job, he's exceptional at it. So, I think that he belongs in S tier for that reason. Eagle. Now, I've actually seen recently some people put in Eagle really low here. And as of right now, he is still by far one of the best officers for an ATG. He does exceptional damage on an ATG against a tank in Super Heavy, a tank in MB, something like that. Obviously, when it comes to infantry, basically no ATG is good against infantry. So I'm going to put him in B tier for now. Now, these are subject to change, guys. I might increase some, I might lower some, and so forth. But he is very close to being an A tier for me, because as of right now, he is still amazing. Moving on, I've put here this officer. Now, again, these are both versatile officers, guys. I think I'm going to put him in D tier. D tier is like the best of the worst, because obviously E and F are like very bad, but I would say he is definitely D tier. He's very early game, potentially like a B and A tier, but at this stage in the game, guys, he's moving down now slowly to a B. I wouldn't say he's obviously terrible. If you've still got him on your units, you know, I'll definitely say you could upgrade him for much better, but he's not the worst of options available. Moving on, we've got Saber. Saber is going to sit in A tier for now, because although he is still an exceptionally good officer, he is slowly but surely being drowned out with all the newer ones. You know, he's still got that amazing up to 1700 coefficient he can hit with every shot that he takes on a Howie, which is honestly what's keeping him in it. His actual skills themselves, like the first, the second, the third, they're pretty weak and kind of shit if you ask me. But that awakened skill alone is what's carrying him through to the A tier, in my personal opinion. But it's still a very good skill. Moving on, we have got Bear. Is there a U tier? Guys, he is the most useless officer in the game. Now, I recently spoke to someone who said that a whale recommended to them they use Bear. Bear, in all aspects, is honestly just one of the worst officers in the game. He's just terrible, guys. I don't even know how I can give an explanation for it. He's just a waste. Even if this officer was 10 statues, I wouldn't awaken him. He's useless. Moving on to I. Obviously, guys, I is by far the pinnacle of base offense. He is a Gen 3 officer, and to this day, he is still needed and used by absolutely everyone when it comes to offense onto a base, especially free to play, but even pay to win. If you got every officer in the game, this guy is going to be in your lineup when it comes to attacking a base. So therefore, he's an S tier 100%. Right, moving on to Flame. Now, for me, guys, I feel like Flame is B tier. And quite honestly, he could even be going down to a C tier, because right now, I don't even think I use him in my lineup. In fact, I'm happy to open up the game and quickly have a look for yous. I know in this lineup here, this is sort of just my max bomber, so technically it doesn't matter, but we go to defense. He's not in my defense setup. We go to base killing. He's not in my base killing setup. Field. He's not in my field setup, even though I could potentially, obviously, you'd say, but why have you got iron thingy in your field setup, well, the field is more based towards my rocket launchers, and then I would just send that to a rally that's killing. The only time I think he's used is here in this base-to-base defense. So if I'm in base-to-base kill, and I'm base-to-base in someone, and I get attacked or something, and they're about to attack me in a sort of 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1 situation, then I will switch out to this, and I'll use him in this exact situation. But guys, he's so minimally not usable anymore. I mean, potentially he could be used in the field. If I was to make a field artillery unit, he's going to be good in a field artillery unit, for example. But when it comes to my rocket launchers, nah. To me, he's kind of just not really usable anymore. And that's just my personal opinion. He's still a good officer, guys. He boosts, obviously, the thingy. But his skill training is what's more important to me right now. I'd rather use him as skill training for the extra garrison damage, basically, on, I think it's on one of my, either my Howie or my ATG. So that's why he's currently sitting at a B. Obviously, he's still a really good officer. And if you don't have some of these other officers, he's still going to be very usable. So potentially, he could even be an A just for the fact that if you don't have the better and newer officers, he is still an exceptional officer, and that's why I'm keeping him in B, if I'm honest with you, because he's definitely not a C or below, if you think about it. Moving on, we've got Lady Liberty. It's still an S tier. You know, a lot of people are saying Lady Liberty is useless now. In the field, guys, she is exceptional. If she gets that skill that enables her to disable the opposing enemy's skill shot, your Howie's going to win that fight 9 times out of 10. So she is still very good, has the 5 grid, you know, absolutely amazing. And to this day, she's still used by many. Moving on, we have got the brand new defense officer here, Steel Angel. Now, Steel Angel for me is definitely a A-tier officer, and she could even potentially be an S-tier, but I'm going to keep her in A-tier for now. I don't want to hype up the S-tiers too much, but overall, she is a very good defense officer. She's only really good in defense. In the field, she's kind of okay, but she loses pretty much half of her skills in, or not necessarily half the skills, but every skill that she has is increased and doubled almost if she's inside the base. So the moment you bring her out of the base, she loses half her damage. So she's still really good other than the fact that she loses half her damage. But A tier, because when it comes to defense, she's one of the best options available. Moving on, we got Vox. Now, guys, Vox is still a C tier in my personal opinion. She's not exactly a crazy output of damage, but she's definitely in that defense situation. She could sit on your ATG. She could sit on a spare rocket launcher. She could sit on anything that you're not using, for example, because in 1, she buffs the base. 2, she has a great skill which enables you to have 32% extra garrison damage. She also buffs the skill training by 0.5 seconds on all of your officers in your base. So overall, she's still definitely 100% very good. And honestly, I would say maybe even B tier at that point, because she really buffs the entire base during a defense. Moving on, guys, we have got Lady Shadow. Now, Lady Shadow, in my personal opinion, is an S tier officer. I don't have her. Now, you're going to be thinking, why don't you have her? If she's an S tier officer, she's free to play, why don't you have her? Well, the reason is I actually have another officer that's very similar to her in the sense I use it, and that is going to be the next officer we cover. And I just don't see the point in upgrading 720 statues for someone who's maybe 10% better than the other one I already have. But would I advise her to anyone who wants to get that sort of style of officer? 100%, if you already don't have the next one. Now, she obviously offers ranged damage a lot. She offers extended range on those extra sort of AoE damage. And honestly, she's just overall such a high offensive officer. Whether it comes to in the field, she's exceptional, especially on a rocket launcher. She's exceptional on artillery, attacking bases. She overall is a really, really good officer. And in my opinion, she does belong in that S tier. Moving on, guys, I have got Frostfire. Now, Frostfire is the officer I use when it comes to sort of that field fighting, and he is very, very good. And this is the officer I'm referring to that's about 10% less damage than Lady Shadow. So, in my personal opinion, I already have Frostfire, and I just don't see the need to increase that damage overall by about about that sort of 10% mark, maybe even 15 for 720 statues. I've skill trained Shadow for that reason. She does have some exceptional skills. I'm trying to focus on really giving that jump to my defense, or jump to my offense, or jump to my ships. I really want to make a boost, not just a small increase. So therefore, I'm going to save my statues and work on the next one. But Shadow is amazing, and in my opinion, Frostfire is still very, very good in the field. Moving on, we've got Maestro. Guys, Maestro. Where do I put him? It's a hard one, and I'm actually going to put him in C tier. He's not terrible. He is decent. He's definitely above, like, because this is going to be the best of the worst. This is this is just, don't ever even think about getting them. But this is just above. They're not the worst, but they're definitely the worst of the best, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's how we're going to categorize it here. And he's definitely the lower tier of the better officers. And the reason for it is he is really good in that sort of defense. But even this officer here, who's versatile, in my personal opinion, is still better than someone who's designed for the ATG. I just think that he is a waste of statues, especially at this stage in the game. Let's say you don't have him. There's no point unlocking him now. There is so much better to have. And it's just, in my opinion, even early game, he was decent. I just personally didn't go for him, and I'm happy I didn't. Let's put it that way. I'm happy I didn't. Moving on, we have got Wings of Wanderlust. Now, Wings of Wanderlust is more ATG main, but I'm definitely going to put him in A tier for the ATG. He is S tier as an officer in general because he's a versatile officer, but this is an artillery playlist, which means I'm not basing him on the tank style. I'm not basing him on anything except for artillery. And when it comes to artillery, he's extremely good on an ATG. And if we were talking about ATG officers and not artillery officers, he would be S tier. But we're talking about artillery as a whole. And I just think that even on a rocket launcher, he's still good. But I would say 100% he's clear A tier. By the way, guys, I do want to clarify something. If you're here or here, for example, it doesn't mean that Saber's better than him. It doesn't mean... A tier is just a whole A tier. They're all kind of, you know, good in their own aspects, on their own things. So she's good at defense, and hence why she's there, but he's good on offense, not defense. So they're corresponding to their personal levels for their own attributes, if that makes sense. So I think A tier is reasonable for him. Moving on, we have got Futurus. Futurus is, again, exceptional at attacking bases. He is one of the best when it comes to attacking bases, so therefore he belongs up the top in S tier. Every single WoW even has him still. Definitely usable. Moving on, I feel like this S tier is kind of crazy because the S tier is just getting bigger and bigger, and this is probably the easiest S tier in the game. He's the most broken, overpowered officer in the game. He's just came out. He's an exclusive lounge, and he's just does so much damage. It is unfathomable. Moving on, we've got Yardbird. A lot of people have been hating on Yardbird, guys, and I don't know why. I don't know why people are hating on Yardbird. When it comes to attacking a base, he does the job he's designed to do, which is siege a base. Now, a lot of people are saying, yeah, but he's brand new and Futurus is better. Guys, if you are free to play or if you are pay to win, and you are using 3 Howies, or even, 3 Howies, I would say. So, sorry, even 2. If you are free to play or pay to win and you're using more than 1 howitzer, he belongs on your setup because he improves and does more damage than any other officer you can get. So, again, Futurus, and Yardbird are clear the best sieging officers, excluding this guy because he's obviously just absolutely broken. He can do whatever he wants. He does whatever he wants. So yeah, when it comes to just sieging, especially free to play and even potentially in that pay to win scene, these 3 by far are just the best when it comes to attacking a base. Moving on, we've got Vindicta. Guys, I'm telling you, artillery officers are just kind of crazy. When it comes to Vindicta, obviously these 2 together, they just have free will. You know, they are the definition of free will, and you cannot get in their way. There is nothing you can do to stop these 2 combinations from doing, whether it be defense, offense, field, killing bases. They will just go through and plow every single unit on the game. They're very strong. 5 grids and crit strike. She's just absolutely amazing. 100% S tier. Moving on to Antonina. I'm still going to put Antonina in A tier purely for the fact that although she is a Gen 1 officer, having that 5 grid having the skill damage buff, you know, overall, she's definitely used in a lot of scenarios by a lot of people still, including pay-to-win people. If they want to make 3-5 grid officers, they can. She's definitely usable still to this day. Now, that's pretty much everyone when it comes to these artillery officers. A lot of people obviously could say that there's other sort of officers you can use. Early game, you would have some others in here. Maybe, for example, you'd be using her because you've just unlocked her and so forth. But overall, I don't really want to include too many other officers other than the core main ones. I have actually missed this guy here, by the way. And honestly, I'm actually going to put him in E tier. I feel like that's a credible spot for him. He's okay, but when it comes to sieging a base, he really isn't that good. A lot of people are like, but especially before Yardbird came out, I saw a lot of people still using him, saying that, you know, he's still great. But, I mean, having Flame and pretty much any other officer done better than having him. So, yeah, in my opinion, he's definitely not worthy of getting. And I feel like I'm comfortable with this list. I don't think I've missed any officers here, guys. I'm pretty happy with this list here and what they do. I feel like I could move some of them up. I could move potentially some of them down. But I feel like, on average, this is kind of where they belong. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to agree, or a lot of you are going to disagree with my personal setup. I mean, I've seen some people put in Eagle all the way at the bottom, and it's just crazy. Obviously, everyone has their own opinions. But with that being said, guys, how would you change it? So one thing I want from all of you who are watching is I've left the link to this down below. Feel free to rearrange it how you would like it. Take a screenshot and come and join me over on Discord. The link down below for Discord as well. And we have a dedicated Warpath chat. And I want you guys to post all of your personal opinions on the sort of setup using these same officers. So I'll put the link down below. You should be able to access this exact setup here. And then you can rearrange them how you believe. Or maybe you could just say you agree, whatever, if you don't think they need changing. But I know a lot of you will probably change it. So feel free to change it and come and show me in the Discord how you would have your rankings. With that being said, I appreciate each and every single one of you. If you haven't done so, make sure you like this video and please think about sharing it out to other members of your community. I appreciate you all. Hope you have a beautiful day and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.